everyone, and welcome to lesson 7.3, day 2. Today we're going to continue talking about similar triangles and using the properties to solve for missing sides and angles. Now, a reminder with proportions, a proportion would be two ratios that are equal to each other. So think about almost like two fractional values that are equal to each other. And in order to solve, what we often do is cross multiply. So A times D would be equal to the value of what B times C is. So we cross multiply and then you would solve as normal. So for example, we have in example 1 and example 2, two different proportions. So again, in order to start solving, we want to multiply 4 times 49 and set it equal to 7 times x. So 7 times x equals 4 times 49. Well, 4 times 49 is 196, and then divide both sides by 7. X ends up being 28 on that first example. Try the second example on your own. Solve for x using cross multiplication. Now, also a reminder with our similar figures, our corresponding angles are congruent. So they are going to be the exact same size in both figures, but the sides are going to be proportional, right? We've talked a lot about finding those using scale factors and whatnot. Well, what if we are looking to solve for a piece of this, basically looking to find and solve an expression to find x and then eventually plug it back in to find a side length? Well, we're going to set it up similar to what we have been doing. So notice we have two different triangles, UST. This bigger triangle is similar to CSB, the smaller triangle. And we can take the corresponding side lengths, side of our bigger to side of our smaller. So 34x minus 2, that side corresponds to the side that is 36. And then over on the other side, 126 corresponds to 27. So what we can do is solve this proportion again through cross multiplication. Now we want to be careful because when we multiply 27 by 34x minus 2, we want to make sure we use parentheses so that we distribute correctly. And then again, that is going to equal our other two values multiplied together. So 36 times 126. Now, when we start solving, we're going to distribute 27 times 34 is 918 x's. 27 times negative 2 is negative 34. And then 126 times 36 is 4,536. Finally, we can add the 34 to both sides. And then 918x equals 4,590. Divide both sides by the 918. We end up getting x to equal 5. Now we can use that value to plug back in because u to s is this side here. So 34 times 5 but minus 2 gives us a final answer of 168. The next one is also asking us to solve for x and then plug back in to find a missing side. So this time we have side RS is similar to JK. So 5x plus 3 is going to correspond to 2x. And then the 21 from our first one here, R to T, is going to correspond to J to T, which is 7. So 21 over 7. Cross multiply and solve this time. We have 7 times 5x plus 3 has to equal 2x times 21. Start solving through distribution. We have 7 times 5, x is 35x's. 7 times 3 is 21. And then 2x times 21 is 42x's. Subtract the 35x from both sides. So we end up with 7x equals 21. So x, when we divide both sides by 7, is 3. And then plug back in to find the value of r to s. 5 times 3, but plus 3 is 18. Your turn next. Try to find the value of x, and don't forget to also find the length of A to B. In our final two examples, we are also able to use similar triangles to help us indirectly find measurements. So our goal is to eventually find the height of this tree. And if we start by walking 50 feet away from the base of the tree, and then we put down this mirror and we walk an additional 12 feet away from the mirror, and we're 6 feet tall, we can use these similar triangles to find that missing measurement, because we have the 50 and the 12 are those distances on the ground. And then we also have that the height of the tree is going to be proportional to the height of our person. So cross multiply and solve, we end up with 12x equals 50 times 6, which is 300. And then divide both sides by 12, x ends up being 25. So our tree is 25 feet tall. The last one is asking you to, again, use a proportion. We are given that the distance on the ground and the height of the woman. We want the distance on the ground here. We want the overall height of the palm tree. Thanks everyone for watching.